underneath the toppings, and I put them aside. We ended up throwing them away. My wife understands what I'm doing. I told her about you, and I told her about your show, and 45 minutes after this, I am suffering the worst insulin reaction I've ever had in my life. My blood sugar was down to a 26. And I'm getting to the point where I'm old enough in my age where the low blood sugars don't affect me until they get too low for me to really feel that they're hitting.
Wow.
I used to feel them when they were down in the 70s or down in the 60s, even down in the 50s. Now I can get down to the 40s and still not realize I'm having a low blood sugar attack. It was the worst insulin reaction I've ever had in my life, and it's because I didn't have those carbs.
Well, blame it on me.
I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. I can take less insulin. I can take less insulin and adjust my insulin intake to my diet intake. But I'm scared to death to get off my carbs.
You know what? You got to talk to your doctor on that one.
Of course.
When it gets that serious medically, you absolutely have to talk to him, because I know nothing about adjusting insulin. And how many carbs a day does he have you on? And why do you want to lose weight? You don't look particularly porky.
I am overweight.
Like,
because
by how
I am
much?
overweight. 22, 25 pounds.
Well,
I'd love to lose 25
Mike was a
pounds.
good athlete in the day, and he still umpires baseball, youth baseball.
I'm active.
How about cutting just some of the carbs?
Like I said, I can adjust my carb intake and my insulin intake. It's just not going to be as easy of a fix
No.
it is for me just to give it all up. But like I said, I gained 2.2 pounds in 1 week, which I thought was a phenomenal amount of weight to gain.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have lost it, it would have been great. But I gained 2.2 pounds, which I thought was...
A lot of dressing.
Yeah, it was horrible. And like I said, I ate horribly. I ate horribly.
So you can't blame this whole thing on me just because you
I'm
didn't
not.
eat pizza crust.
I am
Just
not blaming
sheer
the whole thing.
coincidence.
I'm definitely not. I had pecan pie, which I only have once a year during
It
Thanksgiving.
could have been the pecan pie.
And that is horrible for a diabetic.
That
to
is
have,
the worst.
period.
That is the number one worst.
So I'm not blaming anybody for my blood sugars being what they are.
What kind of doctor do you go to? Just a regular MD, or do you go to an endocrinologist?
I had an endocrinologist. He suffered a heart attack a few years back, and ever since he passed, I have only been seeing a regular doctor. It's hard to find a good endocrinologist.
You know something?
so.
I don't know if you can schlep that downtown, but in this instance, and because I don't know the doctors out here yet, I would highly recommend you go get a consult with Dr. Mark Stoller, the guy who helped me, because he is a serious endocrinologist, and he's on St. Clair Street, right across the street from Northwestern, and he's at Northwestern Internists Limited or something. Mark Stolar, Stolar. I would suggest it would be worth your time. And if he may have closed his practice, and if it is, all you have to do is mention the 3 magic words. Laura Dion-Jones sent me.
Okay.
Laura said Mark will get me in.
Mark Stoller.
Yes.
Okay. Will
And
do.
I think you should go when something is not right. I believe in going to the best number one
sure.
top guy, the Sherlock Holmes of whatever it is. And I would suggest that to you, especially since you would like to lose 20 to 25 pounds, especially since you experienced this reaction over Thanksgiving. I can't say it was because you didn't eat the pizza crust. It was a residual effect of all the days that you partied hardy.
Sure.
The dressing,
Sure.
the pecan pie. We are going to talk later about the 3 most the most searched recipes on Google. Unless you want to talk about them now.
Chili must be on there.
Chili? No.
No?
Oh, yeah, chili is on there. But one of the worst things, the all-time
It's in my
worst
homework.
things is pecan pie.
Read that in.
Really?
Pecan, what they say, what I heard on TV this week, one of the dietitians said pecan pie is the worst, which I agree. And then she said prime rib is the worst because of the fat. Now, she's a low-fat believer. For me, it's not the prime rib. It's totally the pecan pie. It's the mashed potatoes.
Okay.
It's the whatchamacallit, the gravy. You know what I'm
peas.
saying?
And
And
Exactly.
what do they call pecan pie in the South?
Pecan pie.
Pecan pie.
Yeah.
Pecan.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to point out also that you got George Rollinson involved with this. Now you got me involved with this and thinking about this. I appreciate that. I appreciate that 100%. Like I said, the pizza, the topping is the best part of the pizza. The steak is. It's been so long
man.
since I've had a steak. George.
Why?
I don't have a grill. I don't have a grill. And I
We're
would
going to have a
love-
broiler?
Meet me at the Golden Corral.
I do.
You have a
I do.
broiler.
But I haven't. Had
I've had my
a
oven on
decent
once
steak
in the
a long
last
time.
5 years. I eat out every, believe me.
What's your basic food groups now? What's your basic eating groups?
My basic eating groups for
Well,
the way I'm at now.
Your special diet, yeah. What do you normally eat?
It's my insulin intake and my blood sugar count is based upon carbohydrates. Period. Bottom line. My doctor, I have a nutritionist, not just a doctor. I also have a nutritionist and a diabetic specialist who the 3 of them work with me every 3 months. I go and see them every 3 months, and we work and we talk about this. And my basic carbohydrate diet, I can have, give or take, 4 to 8 ounces of meat per every meal, every snack I have. Vegetables are good to have as far as the carbohydrate intake is, but my insulin intake and my carbohydrate diet is what I base my life upon.
Right.
6 meals a day.
So then
Yeah, you're in
you
a whole
can't,
different,
yeah, it's a,
ball
just a
game.
totally
Wow.
different ballgame, and that I can't advise you, and that's why I said you're working with these 3 professionals. What do they have to say to you about why you're not losing weight?
Well, I'm getting older. My diet that I've been on is now too many calories, too many starches, too many proteins, too many fats for me to sustain my weight, and I'm still on a diet that I was on 10 years ago.
And how about, time for a change? I think
Sure
you should
it
go
is.
see Stolar.
Absolutely, it's time
Go
for a
see
change.
Mark. Go see Mark.
Oh,
Tell
come
him
on,
I'm
make an
working.
appointment.
I'm working with these 3 people. Tell them exactly what you're doing, exactly what happened over Thanksgiving, what you just told us.
Okay.
And take what he says with a grain of salt. Roll it around and see how it
Wait a minute,
weighs.
we're not supposed to have salt.
Yeah.
I'm not salt
Over your
sensitive.
shoulder.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not salt sensitive. I know people who are, and I'm fortunate that I'm not. So I can eat lean cuisines and those kinds of things.
Yeah, but
'cause
they have carbs. I mean, we talked about that. Some of those, I've looked at some of those lean cuisines. They're pretty high in
you
carbs.
got to take the ones that are 25 carbs and lower.
Yeah.
Because if they're
What are those, the
25
fish
carbs
ones?
minus
When
subtract,
I was a kid, my mother always tried getting me to eat fish. I never liked fish. I still like fish to this day.
you are going to love
Eat
them.
fish, eat fish, eat fish. It tastes like chicken. It tastes like chicken. I say, Mom, just give me the chicken. I'd rather just give me the chicken. I'll take the chicken.
I agree.
Me too.
I don't want that fish.
Okay.
Laura Dion-Jones Show, 847-931-1410 WRMN Radio.
I'm glad you gave out that phone number because, George, you got involved. I'm involved now. I want our listeners to get involved. And I hope we can use you as a resource for any questions that we have about losing weight.
Me?
Or being, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely, no question. And what I don't know from my experience, if it's a question like yours is, which is totally purely medical, I do have, like Mark Stoller I can call upon. I have Colette Heimowitz, who's the vice president of Atkins, and she's just, I mean, this woman is incredibly scientific. When I put questions to her, she comes back at me with every which way from Sunday, and she's on my professional advisory team. There's a guy that I would like to make everybody aware of, and his name is Dr. James Bales Jr., and he's a pediatric endocrinologist specializing in childhood obesity from Huntington, West Virginia. And Colette Heimowitz turned me on to this guy, and he is the author of No More Fat Kids, a pediatrician's guide for safe and effective weight loss. And Dr. Jamie is also an associate professor of pediatrics at Marshall University School of Medicine in Huntington. So this guy is no slouch. This guy totally 100% knows the value of counting carbs. And if people can get their hands on No More Fat Kids, I think his website is nomorefatkids.com. But Jamie, in Huntington, they were going to do like you guys have Activate Elgin. Well, they were going to do a Biggest Loser of Huntington, and they asked Jamie to run the program, but they said it has to be low fat. We can't do low carb at all. Now Jamie's of the low carb religion, so how do you take somebody who's, I don't know if he's Catholic, but how do you take a Catholic and tell him now you got to go teach Lutheran
Right, exactly.
or Judaism or whatever?
Stay away from that communion host. Here, I'll ask you a
All
question. I'll put everybody on the spot here. This is something I read in the paper a couple of weeks ago. According to recent statistics, do you know what will be the most, in obesity, of course, is almost epidemic now in the United States. What will be the most obese state in the next decade? And do you know what the fittest state in the United States is? What would you say, the most obese state? Jeff, throw in. You know your 50 states.
Fittest, I would say
Mississippi.
Colorado.
No, Mississippi, pardon me?
Fittest, I would say
Very
Colorado.
good, very good.
Oh, really?
Fittest, Colorado.
Hiking,
mountains.
biking,
Yeah,
skiing,
absolutely. Everybody, you know
mountains,
what? You're the first
kayaking.
person to get. Everybody says California.
Oh no,
Exactly.
Colorado.
Colorado is the fittest state, and the most obese state is Oklahoma.
No
Really?
kidding.
I was
I would have
thinking
said
New York.
Alabama.
Oklahoma. Well, you know, it's all that kind of maybe southern.
What do they eat in Oklahoma?
I don't know.
Beef.
Beef.
What,
Yeah.
beef? I don't
Cattle.
know.
Or unless
Cattle
they
drive.
export
Must
it
be
out.
mixing it with their Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, corn.
And you know, that's a couple of things too. You know, one of the dangers of an Atkins diet, I think, and this is what you really got to be careful of, at least this is from my 11-day experience. If you're going to commit to this, if you're going to commit to get fit, Laura Dion-Jones, low carbs, you better make sure that you stay on low carbs, because the last thing you want to do is eat 4 steaks for dinner and then wake up and have Honey Nut Cheerios.
Oh, brother.
Because then, you know what? Watch out, Katie bar the door.
Oh my God.
You know,
that's
it's going to
just
start looking like a steak.
exactly. You
Really?
can't do that.
That's number one. Laura, here's the question I want to ask you, and here's what I hear. Here's the one negative that I hear associated with Atkins. People say, yeah, that's great. It's a great way to lose weight. It kind of shocks your system, and it really works for almost anybody if you just cut the carbs out.